Look at any price tag in America today, and you'll see the exact same thing. It almost never ends in a zero. It always ends in a 9. Here's what is so weird about this. You know $19.99 is basically $20. I know it. Everyone watching this video knows it. We all pass third grade math. It is a difference of one single penny. A penny you probably wouldn't even pick up if you saw it on the sidewalk. And yet, studies consistently show that people buy significantly more when a price ends in 0.99. That 1 cent difference is not a coincidence. It is an active psychological trick that helps American retailers collect an estimated $300 billion every single year. Honestly, you probably think you are immune to this. You think you are too smart to fall for the oldest trick in the book, but you aren't. And the craziest part? The 99-cent price tag wasn't even invented by psychologists. It was engineered over a century ago to catch a thief. By the end of this video, you will see exactly how this glitch in your brain works, and why knowing about it still won't protect you. So, to understand why this trick still owns our wallets in 2025, we have to look at a glitch in human biology called left-digit anchoring. Listen, your brain does not read numbers the way you think it does. When you look at a price, you don't process all the digits equally. Because we read English from left to right, your brain anchors to the very first number it sees. Everything else is just background noise. When researchers at Rutgers University tested this, they found something mind-blowing. When a price dropped from $4 to $3.99, a single penny, sales skyrocketed. But when the price dropped from $4.10 to $4, which is a much bigger 10-cent discount, sales barely moved. Your logical brain knows 1 cent makes no sense, but your buying brain? It doesn't care. When you see $3.99, your brain anchors on the 3. It registers it as a $3 item. But here is where things get truly strange. Researchers realized that if this trick relies on reading left to right, what happens in cultures that read right to left, like Arabic or Hebrew? They actually tested this, and they found that in right-to-left reading cultures, the anchoring effect is significantly weaker. Think about what that means. Retailers in the United States have been exploiting the specific direction your brain was taught to scan information as a child. You were primed for this trick before you ever saw your first price tag. But wait, here is the million-dollar question. Brain scans and behavioral psychology didn't exist in the 1800s. So, how did this start? Welcome to 1879. Meet James Ritty. He owned a massively popular saloon. It was packed every night, but he was slowly going bankrupt. Why? Because his bartenders were robbing him blind. Back then, money just went into an unlocked wooden drawer. If a drink cost exactly $1, the customer would hand over a $1 bill. The clerk would take the money, smile, and just pocket it. The drawer never opened. So, Ritty invented the world's first mechanical cash register. But for it to work as a security device, the clerks actually had to open it. And that is when the magic happened. Retailers started pricing items at 99 cents instead of $1. Not to trick customers, but because if an item cost 99 cents and the customer handed over $1, the clerk had to walk over to the machine, physically ring in the sale, and open the drawer just to give the customer their 1 penny in change. Every time the drawer opened, a loud bell would ring. The clerks couldn't steal anymore. Therefore, the most powerful psychological pricing trick in retail history started as employee surveillance. But once store owners noticed how it secretly changed customer behavior, things got much more deliberate. Look, left-digit anchoring is just the first layer. There is a second mechanism running in parallel in your brain right now, and it is almost impossible to defend against. MIT and the University of Chicago ran an experiment using women's clothing catalogs. They took the exact same dress and listed it at 3 different prices: $34, $39, and $44. You would expect the $34 version to sell the best because it is the cheapest. It didn't. The $39 version outsold both of them. Why? Because over decades of shopping, our brains have been conditioned to associate numbers ending in 9 with a sale. The number 9 has literally become a signal, independent of the actual price, that screams, "This is a great deal," even when the round number is actually cheaper. You absorb this from 10,000 shopping trips. The number 9 makes expensive things feel cheap, but it also makes cheaper things feel less desirable. This is why the pricing system in America is actually a two-lane road. Apple charges $999 for a laptop because they still want you to feel like you are getting value. But luxury brands, they never use the .99 trick. A high-end watch is exactly $5,000 because our brains have learned that round numbers signal confidence. No discount, no deal. Luxury items want to seem like they are above the conversation entirely. You are being sorted into a psychological category before you ever decide whether you want to buy the item. And here is the part that should actually bother you. In 2012, a team of researchers wanted to know if knowing about this trick could finally protect you from it. They sat participants down and explained the left digit effect in extreme detail. They told them exactly how their brains were being hacked. Then, they watched them shop. The bias didn't go away. Even fully informed subjects still anchored on the left digit. They still reacted to 99-cent pricing because the knowledge lived in the rational part of their brain. But the trick runs somewhere else, somewhere older and faster, where conscious awareness barely reaches. 130 years of price tags have completely rewritten a human reflex. It is not a bug in your thinking. It is a fast, automatic pattern recognition system that retailers have been exploiting since before your grandparents were born. You aren't irrational. You just aren't as in control as you feel. So, the left digit effect uses your reading habits against you. But honestly, that is amateur hour compared to what menus and online stores do next. If they really want to force you to buy the most expensive item, they don't change the price tags. They just put a fake, highly overpriced decoy option right next to it to completely warp your sense of reality.